Romans 8:28 states, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." The Lord used Pharaoh's hard heart as an opportunity to display his might and power, bringing plagues upon the Egyptians. Israel was given the opportunity to witness God's mighty and unmatched power in the midst of Egypt's so-called gods. Although Egypt's plan for Israel included enslavement and murdering their newborn sons, God was working these things for Israel's good. He would richly and miraculously deliver them from their captives and bring them into the land of milk and honey. Passover was instituted for future generations of Israel to remember God's agape love for them, demonstrated through his protection, provision, and deliverance from Egypt. Through remembrance, God's children were encouraged to trust his promises, salvation, and his mighty hand. In the same manner, the Lord's Supper is gifted to the church to remember God's provision for forgiveness of sin through Christ's sacrificial passion on the cross. Sunday worship reminds the church of Christ's resurrection and God's mighty power to save his children from spiritual enslavement today. Through Moses, God judged Egypt with plagues in order to free his children from slavery and deliver them to the promised land of Israel. In Jesus Christ, the Lord judged sin on the cross to forever deliver his people from spiritual slavery and darkness, and bring them into the land of freedom and eternal light to dwell with him forever. Revelation 21:3-7 states, "And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, 'Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away.' He who was seated on the throne said, 'I am making everything new.' He said, 'It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give water without cost from the spring of the water of life. Those who are victorious will inherit all this, and I will be their God, and they will be my children." God's fulfillment of his promise in Romans 8:28 is further viewed in light of the story of Joseph in Genesis. God's benevolent providence in his children's lives is demonstrated when, despite Joseph's brothers' jealousy and murderous intentions, the Lord lifted Joseph up through slavery, false accusations, imprisonment, and abandon, making him the second most powerful man in all Egypt. By God's grace, Joseph was able to secure the safe passage of his family and save them from starvation. From Judah, Joseph's brother, came the Messiah, Jesus Christ, our salvation. Not only did God bless Joseph's life, but he blessed our lives through him. I doubt Joseph dreamed the part he played in God's eternal redemption plan, but his faithful, obedient life was blessed by God and used in part to fulfill our Father's promise to us in Romans 8:28, as we now graciously receive adoption as children of the Lord. From the garden to the cross until the Lord's return, God has, is, and will continue to fulfill his promise in Romans 8:28, to work all things for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. I wonder, in faithful obedience, how will he work through us, his children, to administer his loving grace and salvation in this generation?